Hi there. So in this vlog I'm going to be sharing how it is, from my perspective, within what I found by investigating my own mind, how it is that we can lose ourselves in entertainment and within specifically the specific energy that we experience inside of ourselves connected with entertainment, when we're watching entertainment or participating in entertainment, where as an example I will be using the entertainment of participating in playing computer games, because that is the specific context that I've investigated for myself, because it's something that I found myself doing and reacting to and going into that specific experience of losing myself within energy connected to playing a computer game. So the context being that you have your responsibilities that you do and that you've set out for yourself as what you're going to do in a specific time frame, like studying or writing, or you have various projects that you would like to accomplish in your life, in your day, or your week. And then you start playing a computer game, which, in my case, starts out very innocently, where I haven't played in a while, a few years, and, just a thought comes up of, what, let me just play this computer game as giving myself some opportunity to have some fun and to relax a little bit. So, I start playing, and before I know it, I'm in that experience, like an intense experience within myself, where I don't want to let go of the computer game and I just want to continue playing all the time. And whenever there's a thought coming into my mind that is showing me and reminding me of all the other responsibilities that I still have set out for myself to do in that day, I go into this experience of resistance within myself, and it's like I just don't want to look at it. I don't want to be confronted with anything that has to do with moving myself in physical reality and doing other things and focusing my attention on other things, because all I want to do is just continue playing this computer game, even though I am very much aware of the fact that if I do continue playing and if I do continue spending my time on playing the computer game, everything else is going to fall by the wayside, and eventually I will not have moved myself within my physical reality at all, and I will end up feeling ashamed of myself, and I will end up feeling regret, because I know that I've wasted so much time on something that didn't amount to or contribute to my life in any positive way. I've just been playing a computer game where it feels like I'm accomplishing things, but I'm actually not. When you have a look at the physical reality of playing computer games, is that you're not really doing anything that in any way is productive or contributing to your life, specifically if you are playing computer games from the starting point of energy and just generating energy within yourself. I mean, obviously there are other ways of playing computer games where you are doing it with awareness and you are really like building a specific skill that you then plan on using within your day-to-day physical living, which is something else entirely. But obviously here I'm talking about playing computer games from the perspective and starting point of basically wasting time and escapism and wanting to escape your day-to-day responsibilities. Which, you know, as I said, wasn't my initial starting point, because it started out as an innocent thought of, you know, I'm just gonna have some fun now, give myself a break, and then it ended up being something that consumed my entire time and was starting to consume my entire time. So upon investigating what happens in my mind, because what I found is that this is it seems like it's a very difficult experience to get myself out of. Like, it's when I'm in that experience while playing a computer game, I'm in that energy of like excitement and like this positive kind of tensed but also excited energy. It seems like it's very difficult to pull myself out of that while it's going on, because in the background in my mind there will be thoughts coming up in my head of, you know, I should be doing other things right now. You know, I don't actually, like, I wish I could pull myself away right now. I wish I would be able to work on other things and spend time and attention on other things and not waste my time playing this computer game, but I can't because this energy is too much. I can't just stop playing. I must keep on playing. That's what it feels like, and that's what's going on in the back of my mind. So, you know, I started to investigate this interesting dynamic that's, you know, happening in my mind, because it's strange, to say the least, that I seem to not have any power or control over my physical behavior, my physical actions, and I seem to not be able to do that which I know I should be doing and I know is actually best for me. So it's like I'm harming myself and my life by doing something that I know is detrimental to my physical life and living, and it's like I can't help it. So how does that work? You know, why is it that within that moment I can't just stop playing? I can't just snap out of it. I can't just, you know, take a step back and simply look at what needs to be done, look at the practical reality, and just, you know, do what needs to be done. And for instance, just play for 10 minutes or half an hour and then go over to my other responsibilities. And in that way use gaming constructively and, you know, within self-direction, where I am still in the driver's seat in relation to what I choose to do with my time. Whereas now what's happening is that the game is driving me, because it's swallowing all my time that I actually want to be spending on other things. So I mean, obviously this dynamic of being sucked up so completely by an energy that I feel that it has complete power over me and control over my physical behavior, and I can't even step back and pull myself out of it, is an experience that I've been conditioning inside of myself all throughout my childhood years, where I've basically conditioned myself within and as escapism to create that specific polarity in my mind of, you know, like the system and everything that's physical, everything that has to do with responsibilities and moving myself in physical reality is negative, and entertainment and energy and feelings and emotions and internal movements is positive and it's nice. So that's the first point that, you know, you'd have to become aware of in relation to developing awareness in relation to computer games, is that whenever there's an energy coming up while you're playing computer games, like that positive energy of excitement, is that what you're actually doing simultaneously is creating also a negative experience that then goes out to you know, everything else in physical reality. Like when that thought comes up of I need to go study now, then that is met with a negative energy experience, because playing computer games has been connected with a positive energy experience. So that's just how the mind then sort of balances itself out within energy. And I mean, having a look at now why it seems so difficult and even impossible to step out of that positive energy experience while playing a computer game, and then, you know, directing my physical body and physical reality to do things, you know, to do other things. What I found is that, first of all, it's like I've developed a relationship with entertainment where I give my power away completely. It's like I accept and allow entertainment to take control over my awareness and my directive power and principle within myself, where I've conditioned myself throughout my life to kind of always, whenever I'm watching television, playing a game, to sit back, not only, you know, physically, but, you know, within myself. Like I sit back within myself and I allow myself to be moved by whatever it is that's coming up on the screen. I allow television and everything that comes up on the screen to completely enter my mind and my being, and all I do is like sit back and just react to what I'm seeing on TV. Very automatically, very pre-programmed. It's like, you know, it's like I give my power away absolutely, where I really eventually feel like I cannot stop. I can't stop. I can't just turn off the TV and walk away. Not while I'm in that energy, not while I'm in that experience of feeling and emotional reactions to what I'm seeing on the screen. Usually the only time when I'll stop playing or stop watching TV is when the energy has gone away. It's like, because energy can only last for so long, so it'll have like a peak where I feel really excited and, you know, I'm in that reaction in relation to, for instance, watching television or playing a computer game. And then after a while, it'll feel like I'm starting to get bored. So once that sets in, that experience, only then will I actually decide to, you know, switch off the TV and stop playing the computer game, and then it will seem easy. But, you know, in that moment when I'm still in the energy, it seems impossible to actually move myself away from it. So what I've applied within my process of investigating this experience and developing self-awareness and developing my self-directive principle in relation to who I am in physical reality is that, first of all, what I used to do is that I used to go into self-judgment about it when I realized that, again, I've allowed myself to go into the energy and I've allowed myself to waste a lot of time spending on watching TV or playing computer games. Then I would automatically like go into a judgment of myself where I'd feel ashamed about myself because I thought, you know, I have to, or I should have been more aware of myself and I should have done this and that, and instead I wasted all that time, and, you know, and I'd go into this low kind of depression almost within myself, feeling disappointed with myself. But what I've realized so far within my process is that it's like everything that exists inside of yourself, everything that you do, everything of how you experience yourself it's a specific construct. It's like a system. And even the amount of time that it takes you learn something, or to develop something, to develop a skill, or to, you know, develop insight, awareness, and understanding in relation to something that exists within yourself, is, you know, it's a system. It's specific to how you have designed your own mind throughout your life. So I cannot simply place expectations on the amount of time that I expect myself to get out of this experience, because I have to get to know my own mind. I have to take into account that it took me a whole lifetime of extensive participating in that energy experience and extensive participating in the same behavior. It took me all that time to now be and have become who I am today, and to create all those experiences within myself. So it will take a specific amount of time to get myself out of it. So all I have to do is simply have patience with myself and take it step by step by step. So that is the first important step in relation to anything that you're dealing with in your own mind, is to have patience and to always look at things from the starting point and perspective of the realization that, you know, I'm dealing with a system. And in order to effectively understand the system, take the system apart, release it, and change it, you know, I must be like a scientist. I must approach the system and simply investigate it from like a neutral standing point within myself, and just look at all the components that's involved in a systematic way. So once I am observing myself going into that experience, like I'm playing a computer game, I find myself and I realize that I'm in that energy experience, and I'm in that whole mindset of, I just want to keep on playing, I don't want to stop, I don't want to, you know, go do something else now, I just want to continue playing. You know, once I'm aware of that, and I apply the realization within myself of, okay, I'm dealing with a system here. I am in something in my mind, and I realize that this is not who I really am. This is a specific system that I've conditioned within myself. So at this point, I am going to simply observe. Like, I'm just observing myself, and I'm observing everything that's going on in my mind right now. The energy, the thoughts, the physical motions, the physical experience, and in that moment, and by doing that already, I'm stepping out of the experience, because I'm like taking a step back just to observe myself. Without any expectations, without expecting myself to snap out of it or to stop doing it, without judging myself for doing it, just observing myself, realizing that this is a system. So what I then started doing is, and this step requires sort of a push, like you have to, I found within myself that I have to actually push myself to do this, but once you do, you know, it's very effective in kind of snapping yourself out of the experience that you're in, which is applying self-forgiveness in the moment, where the specific self-forgiveness that I started to apply in that moment when I was in the experience, and, you know, it's at that moment, is that, for instance, you know, I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to go into this high energy experience in relation to playing this computer game. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to think that I don't want to stop playing this computer game. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to give all of myself and all of my power away to this energy inside of myself, thinking and believing that I must and I need to experience this energy right now, because otherwise I won't be able to exist, or I won't be able to somehow enjoy my life, instead of seeing, realizing, and understanding that I don't even really understand where this energy is coming from in the first place. I mean, I've written all this down, and I've created a blog where I've shared all the specific self-forgiveness statements that I've applied in that moment, where the core point that I realized in that moment and that sort of got me to stabilize myself more within myself is the realization that, you know, I'm giving all my directive power away to an energy. And I don't know where this energy is even coming from or how it exists inside of myself. But I mean, here I am, sitting within myself, doing something because an energy is telling me to do it, not even realizing or knowing where this energy is coming from, and placing all of my trust in this one energy experience inside of myself, connected to all sorts of thoughts in my mind that are telling me all sorts of things like, you know, I can't stop playing now, I must continue playing, if I stop playing it will be very bad, or if I do anything else then I will feel like crap and I just can't help feeling like this, etc. You know, all these thoughts connected to that energy that are like preserving and protecting the energy. And, you know, I'm trusting all of that that's going on in my mind, wherein it's like I've completely victimized myself towards my own mind, towards this energy, instead of realizing that I am here. I am a physical being and I have the power and creative ability to move myself in physical reality, and anything that goes on inside of my mind as an energy and as thoughts that is telling me all these things is a system. So within that is my power as a being to, you know, investigate everything that is going on in my mind and trust myself in the moment, wherein, you know, I have the power to physically move myself despite any energy experience that's going on within my mind. So applying this self-forgiveness, I mean, was extremely effective to, in that moment, it's like the energy really dropped because I could see what I was doing and I could see what was going on, and specifically the point of me giving all my power away to just this energy of which I don't even know what it is really. That is what really got me to be able to stabilize myself a lot, where then in that moment I was just able to, you know, stop playing and go over to doing other things without any energy involved, without resistance, because I had forgiven the energy. I had realized that it was just a system, so my mind also didn't have the chance anymore to, you know, balance itself out and to go over into the negative experience. So, I mean, obviously this is a process that will, you know, be a process, because what I found also is that, you know, the experience will come back eventually, which only shows that, you know, there is more to investigate. Because as I said, this is an experience that I've been conditioning into myself throughout my whole life, so I can't just expect it to just be solved in one go. Obviously, I will have to, you know, revisit the point, and as it comes up inside of myself again, I will have to investigate it again, because it will be like a deeper layer within my mind showing itself to me until I am at that point where I have complete direction and power and control over my own physical actions in every moment of breath, where I can, for myself, make sure that every physical action I make is what is absolutely best for myself, and I'm not directed by any energy inside of my mind or by some kind of outside force like energy, thoughts. So that was my process within that. And, you know, for everyone who might be experiencing the same thing, you know, I would suggest to try and apply the technique that I've shared here, as I found it to be quite effective for myself in realizing my directive power in relation to my physical actions and in relation to my mind. For more support in this process, in how to walk this process, I would suggest to visit the Destiny website, and there is the Journey to Life Facebook page where people share their processes that they're walking in their own life, facing their own mind, which is also worthwhile to go and visit to assist and support yourself in starting to walk your own journey to life. Okay, thank you very much.